Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Let's just dive right in, shall we? Back in 2021, Bredemarket shared this brilliant series of 4 posts all about communicating benefits over features. What we're doing today is summarizing those 4 posts, specifically looking at how this whole concept applies to the highly complex identity and biometrics industry. By the end of our time together, you're going to have a rock-solid framework for transforming all those dry technical specs into compelling, absolutely must-have benefits for your customers.
Here is our roadmap for the explainer. We're going to start off with features versus benefits. Then we'll introduce the so what test, move on to knowing your stakeholders, take a look at why time matters, and finally finish up with finding your brand personality.
All right, let's get into part 1, features versus benefits.
You know, there's a really common misconception out there that feature lists are what actually sell products. Spoiler alert, they really don't. A feature simply describes what a product does. It's just a statement of fact. A benefit, on the other hand, describes exactly how that product helps the audience. So you might see proposals boasting things like, hey, this product captures latent fingerprints at 1,000 pixels per inch, or this product was a top-tier performer in recent tests by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST. Those sound super impressive, right? But they are just features. They are not benefits, because they completely fail to explicitly state how they solve the customer's actual problem. Moving right along to part 2, the so what test.
So how on earth do we actually turn a dry, boring feature into a compelling benefit? Well, Bredemarket introduces this fantastic framework for this. Get this. You basically have to act like an irritating 2-year-old child. Let's look at our initial dry technical feature. This product can complete its processing in less than 2 hours. Okay, nice fact, but to get to the true benefit, we really need to interrogate it. You just have to ask the core question with the playful exasperation of a toddler. So what? Seriously, why should the customer even care? And that gets us to our first level of evolution. So what? Well, it means this product can complete its processing while the arrestee is literally still in custody, before the suspect is released. Okay, getting warmer. We now know this allows us to detect serious charges while we still physically have the person in the building. But you guessed it, we are not quite there yet. Let's do it again. So what? We really need to dig all the way down to the ultimate high-stakes value of this system. Boom! There it is, the absolute ultimate benefit. This product can identify arrestees who have outstanding warrants for murder before they are released to murder more people. I mean, wow! This brilliantly illustrates the power of a true customer-centric benefit. You aren't just selling 2 hours of processing time anymore, you are literally selling the prevention of a tragedy. And that right there is what makes people buy.
Okay, part 3, know your stakeholders.
In real-world B2B sales, you are almost never just selling to one person. Take the example of selling an automated biometric identification system, or ABIS, to the city of Ontario, California. Just look at this wildly different list of stakeholders involved in just one city's purchasing decision. You've got the mayor, in this case Paul Leon, who is desperately trying to answer to angry citizens about why their catalytic converters keep getting stolen. He definitely doesn't care about the tech specs. But the purchasing agents, oh, they care deeply about data storage costs because that directly hits the budget. And then the IT personnel, they just care about securely connecting the system to the state and the FBI. To really ground this in reality, just picture these field investigators gathering evidence out at a crime scene. The folks lifting prints off of a knife have entirely different needs and priorities than the privacy advocate back at the office reviewing the contract. Because of that, the benefits of your product are completely customer dependent. You literally cannot use a single copy-pasted set of benefit statements for everyone. It just won't work.
Let's bring back that feature from earlier to see exactly how this plays out in practice. Our feature is captures latent fingerprints at 1,000 pixels per inch.
See, the mayor, he absolutely does not care about 1,000 PPI versus the old 500 PPI standard. To him, it's just jargon. And the purchasing agent only sees that 1,000 PPI requires way more expensive data storage. But for the examiner, the benefit statement for them is that higher resolution means a higher probability of matching poor quality prints to solve more crimes. So the totally crucial point here is that this exact benefit statement must be placed specifically in the section of the proposal that the examiners are actually going to read.
Which brings us to part 4. Time matters. We've got 3 examples here.
Context completely shifts the actual benefit of processing speed. Let's start with a 2-hour window. For rapid DNA systems sold by vendors like Andy or Thermo Fisher, a 2-hour response time is incredible. Depending on the target audience, the real benefit is solving crime scenes quickly, safely checking arrestees at booking stations, or bringing crucial peace of mind by identifying disaster victims.
Okay, now let's shrink that down to just 1 minute. Back in 1994, real-time AFIS, the automated fingerprint identification system, totally revolutionized fingerprint matching. Dropping search times from days all the way down to a single minute was a massive game changer. Today, systems like the FBI's RISC, the Repository for Individuals of Special Concern, can identify high-priority criminals in literal seconds. The benefit here is rapid, on-the-spot identification.
But then we hit the 1-second mark. The source material shares this super fascinating story from back in 1997, when a company called Printrack acquired SCC, which was a computer-aided dispatch or CAD company. The fingerprint folks were proudly bragging about their 1-minute response times. Well, the CAD folks replied that in their world, if it took an entire minute to dispatch fire and medical personnel, people would die.
Looking at a CAD map for Toronto Fire Services really visually anchors that life or death reality. It proves exactly why your benefit statements must be fiercely tailored to the specific product line and market context you're dealing with. A minute is an absolute eternity when a building is on fire.
All right, last major section, part 5, finding your brand personality. The final crucial piece of this whole puzzle is matching your company's actual tone of voice. Consider 2 wildly different approaches here. Procter & Gamble uses very restrained, explicit financial benefits, like, save $100 on your energy bill. Apple, on the other hand, uses implicit lifestyle benefits, like selling you a purple phone simply because it's cool. Now, remember those CAD vendors we were just talking about? They rarely state keeps people from dying bluntly in their marketing. Why? Because it just doesn't fit their corporate personality. You have to craft a benefit that is not only important to your customer, but is delivered in a voice that feels entirely authentic to your company.
And that brings us to the conclusion, the summary and the pitch. Look, to win business, you've got to define the benefit, put it through the ringer with the so what test, target a very specific stakeholder, contextualize the timing, and make sure it aligns with your brand's personality. As Bredemarket's own marketing highlights, this is exactly what they offer. They provide the iterative process and the writing services to help identity firms execute this exact strategy, leveraging over 25 years of hard-earned experience with biometrics and secure documents. So, I want to leave you with this one provocative thought. Go grab your current marketing materials right now, your latest proposal, or just open up your website. Really look at the text on the page. When your customers read your pitch right now, are they still asking, so what? Because if they are, it is definitely time to channel your inner 2-year-old and get to work. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember, keep asking the right questions.